Is this thing on?
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Okay.
Idiot. Uh-oh. He's not ready.
Oh, God. Okay. That's the worst coffee I've ever. I'm going to need this sugar.
All right, I'm ready. Headphones on. Where's you look naked without your headphones?
You look naked.
Doubtful.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 10.
Episode 10. We made it to 10. Woohoo!
I feel like I shouldn't be that loud. It's getting late at this. I'm in a hotel, so I'm
Well, that's
feeling
one way to
excitement.
kick. What's that?
I'm feeling excitement, but I can't express it with volume.
Well, it could be worse.
It's still horrible.
Those faces are fantastic. Too bad audio. He's making disgusting faces.
Ugh, that's the worst coffee I've ever had.
It came with the room?
There's a little promo for Maxwell House. Sorry, Maxwell House. Thumbs down. What you been up to?
Well, you might as well start because you're the one sitting in a hotel room.
Well, the life of a road carver, as you said right before we recorded, started recording. This is day number 1 of a 2-day workshop I'm teaching in Ohio, Archibald, Ohio. So they put me up in a nice hotel and they feed me at a cool restaurant. I ought to show you this restaurant. It's the founder of Solder Furniture Company, who at one time provided paneling with wood and hardware for IKEA and Target and Walmart. They still provide to many of those companies, but they started a museum, like a relic museum, and they have a little restaurant that they took a barn apparently and drug it. Sorry for the audio people, but if you want to see it, you can check us out on YouTube. They took a barn and they converted it into a restaurant, and it's so cool. They have these wagon wheel lights, and it's kind of a buffet type situation. So I go there and I eat my food and I drink my coffee, and it's very lonely.
Well, here we are then.
Yeah,
Saving
right.
your day.
Thank you.
Hold your phone up.
Coffee.
Hold your phone up one more time.
What's that? Are you kidding?
Nope. Hold it up.
This?
So what do you got? About 8% battery life left?
Something.
Alec and all artsy people don't charge their telephones.
I don't know what that is.
Many times he's called me in the morning, and all of a sudden he's gone. Oh, I gotta charge my phone.
I don't know. What
the world puts, when they go to bed at night, they plug in their phone, and they should be good all day. It's crazy.
Wow, fascinating, Doug. Tell me more.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I interrupted you. You're on day 1, or you're setting up for day 1 tomorrow.
You're right. Really, this is not even day 1. This is like a throwaway day. I just drove today and packed my car, of course, before driving, and as you would. And I saw a gas station that you could drive through and get beer from.
In Ohio.
Yeah, I stopped at a gas station. Do you guys have that there?
No.
It's like a garage. You literally can drive through the building. It's just an opening, completely open. And there's stacks and stacks of beer and soda. And you can just pull it right in. And some lady is sitting out there. She's just waiting. And she'll load your car up with beer and soda. And then off you go.
Only in America. No, we have nothing like that. To be fair, though, they introduced limited beer and wine in some of the large grocery stores.
Which wasn't a thing, right? You had to go to a special place.
You had to go to the actual LCBO or the beer store. Yeah.
That's why.
Not that it really matters, but I know going to the States there, variety stores have beer.
Well, like I say, this was a small gas station. When I saw it, I was concerned they didn't have a bathroom. But not only did they have a bathroom, they had a drive-through beer stop.
And ammo. No ammo?
I didn't see it, but
anyway. So what are you teaching?
Well, you can imagine just carving the face. Just it's 2 days, so we can't get into a lot, but I imagine we'll just get into the male face. And what's nice is it's good and bad. It's a smaller class, so I won't have to fight with the students about what to start with. And if there are divided opinions, the worst there can be are 4 opinions. So 4 different projects, but the likelihood is, in all likelihood, we'll just have like maybe 1 or 2 themes. So a human face, a male human face with maybe some adornment, maybe like a Western figure, like a mountain man or something, or maybe a wood spirit. I try to give the students some say in what we're making, so they're happy in that regard, because they have to put up with me.
So they basically get to pick their project or their idea,
right?
And you just kind of guide them along,
right? But within reason, right? We want to all kind of be on the similar page at least. So
yeah. And so then they all go home with finished carving.
2 days gives you enough time to carve a wood spirit.
Nice.
Right? So they can get all the hair detail. If they did something like a mountain man, they'd probably get 70% of the way there.
Because I've been jealous when I've seen some of your pupils holding up these wood spirits that still look better than anything I could ever do. Holding up first day carvers. Look what they made. I'm like, oh, not fair.
No way. You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's fun. No, it's definitely good. And I find that it's always that the younger and the more novice carvers are always the best. Not always younger, the more novice carvers, even the older novice carvers, but it seems like their preconceived notions aren't as overpowering, and so they take it.
That's the same with anything. If they have the full of bad habits first, it's never easy to train them, eh?
Right.
Exactly. I'm gonna be a nightmare for you.
Hopefully not.
Oh well, one day. One day I'll sit.
The boundaries, the borders are opening.
Borders are opening next month for Canada to the U.S.
So we have no excuse now.
There'll be no excuses. Before Christmas, we'll have to have a YouTube special or something.
Oh, we will.
Dan and Alex's Christmas.
Yeah, Dan and Alex's Christmas
special. Yeah. So, well, that's fun.
Tell me everything. Tell me everything.
Tell you everything. Well, it's we recorded late in the week last week,
right?
So part of what I've been up to is part of the topic that I want to talk about later on. So I'll just kind of flow into our topic of the week when we get there.
Right.
But my fun was, like I said last week, just got back from that trip, spent far too much time editing video of the rafting hike trip.
Yeah.
Hike and raft trip, and got that up on YouTube. That was a relief to get that done. I have to teach myself one camera. Just bring one camera. I'm dealing with 3 different cameras and 3 different camera cards and trying to sequence the events as they unfold. I'm like just jumping back and forth, and I'm very not handy with the computer, so I don't have all the tips and tricks and stuff that these guys that just run through these things and everything. I'm like, open this, open, close, open, close, back and forth. And so it'd be hilarious for someone to watch me do it. But anyway, got the video up, and it did not do well, which is interesting. I'm not sad about it, because it kind of proved the point to me that they expect carving now.
Yeah.
Over the outdoor stuff, which is nice. But I kind of all summer, for months and months, I kind of, the little lingering comments for always go camping. And so twice now I've done that with very poor results in the videos. whereas the carving videos are taking off. So I finally made the transition, I guess, that I'm going to do carving videos.
Right.
So not that I won't still do outdoor stuff. It's nice to throw in something different here and there, but yeah, it's like I said before, the squeaky wheel on YouTube is not necessarily the majority. So that point was proven.
Right.
But yeah, but otherwise, I've been chasing down video thieves again.
Really?
Yeah. They're just stripping my full video and putting them on their own channels. And I had a new one yesterday. A fella commented on Instagram. He goes, "Is this you, Doug? Some Chinese brand of carving knives? An ad on Instagram." And it had me carving a little man.
Really?
And then I got looking and I saw a little penguin. And I said, "Oh, that's Simon wood carving."
No.
I think he's in New Zealand. So I messaged him. I said, "Hey, this is your penguin?" And so both of us were like, "Dude, not endorsed ad," filed complaints and stuff too. And yeah, got that removed too. But it's so funny that people just, I don't know if it went away because it went away from me anyway. You know, ads, you can never re-find an ad.
Right.
So you have to kind of look for what you wrote before. So I haven't gone back today, but I fully expect it would have just been immediately taken down. Mm-hmm. And an update from a couple of weeks ago when I was telling you about the people ripping off the videos. Yeah. I got a message from the channel that stole my video and uploaded it saying, "Fine, we removed your video. Please undo the copyright strike. It's not fair." Yeah, they asked me to undo the copyright strike because it wasn't fair. No. It's not fair. You stole my video. With no apology, just saying we took the video down. Please take away your copyright strike. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no. So,
that ain't gonna happen. But yeah, so that's about it. As far as what else I've been up to, I thought it'd be kind of fun this week to talk about. Do you have any moving into winter? Yeah. Do you have any fall reset? Is there any reset that you do when you get to winter and carving or even household that just kind of says, okay, we've made the switch. Summer's over, go in the fall. It's going to get cold, whatever. And right. So, for example, what I was up to this weekend was I had to take apart my wood stove and cleaned out all the piping and then clean the chimney out and start splitting more firewood and stuff and lit my first fire, which is like the total, this is fall now. Right. And it's so nice to get the first fire going after you get everything all cleaned up. Yep. But so that was my example. I spent a long time being the old chimney sweep and making a mess and cleaning it up and back into fire season.
You have a brush for that?
Yeah, I have a little wire brush. It's probably a 6-inch ball that fits tight into my flue or my chimney, and I have 4 extension rods. So basically, for a 2-story house chimney, and once I get there, I add another rod, push it up, and clean it, and then add another one all the way to the top, and then I work all the way down again. So, yeah.
So is it like a wire brush attachment?
Yeah, it's just a wire brush attachment to like these 5-foot fiberglass rods that screw together. So you just keep going up the chimney. I work from inside. You see, a typical chimney sweep would be standing on the roof cleaning.
Oh, right.
But when I take the pipe off the back of the wood stove, I used to stand on a chair and hold a bucket and run the thing up like that, holding the bucket. And I still make a bit of a mess, but it saves me taking apart all the cap of the chimney.
Oh yeah, so, that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
that's kind of a gross job.
It's a dirty job. You'd be proud of me. I wore a mask this time.
What is that supposed to mean? Oh, for the carving.
Well, I never wear a mask And this is that fine creosote dust in the air, and even my beard was like black, and my cheeks were black, and probably everything with
your lungs.
Probably no, but probably everything within 10 feet had a little dusting of creosote. So it's kind of a dirty way to do it, but that's how I do it.
Right. No, but the whole thing about wearing a mask when I'm power carving or sanding came through having problems with my lungs. I would never have been this way had it not been for that. Just too many problems with pneumonia and, now asthma, post-COVID related asthma and all kinds of fun stuff. But to answer your question, the only thing that I could think of, I thought about the fires too. Of course, we get firewood going, and what that looks like is just for us, we're actually looking to find somebody who we can buy a split cord from, the face cord, because we don't, unlike you, we don't really heat with the wood. We just have decorative fires, and sometimes it gets cold in the house, and having the fire makes a difference. And so we'll burn kind of like once, twice, maybe 3 times a week. We had our first fire though yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So that felt cool or warm. And but as far as the change, the biggest change for me is the amount of apple cider I'm drinking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we actually got into it too. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I told you we went to the apple farm thing, and we brought some back and been drinking it like crazy. So
I go through gallons of apple cider in this season. By the time winter hits, I'm so tired of apple cider.
Yeah. Yeah.
It grosses me out. But
yeah, I don't think about drinking apple cider like in a month or two. I won't think about it again till next September, October, because you overdose on apple cider.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I found this, my buddy came over a few nights ago and made this mulled cider. And he does this every year, and it's unbelievable. It is a pot of, spices and cider. He adds black pepper, cardamom, star anise, cinnamon, nutmeg, and I believe that's it. I think a tiny bit of lime juice.
Yeah.
And he cooks it. He actually cooks it down. Like it reduces a fair amount, maybe 30% reduction. So you've got 70% of what you had, and it's sweeter and warm, and it's, oh my gosh, it's very spicy. Oh, ginger, tons and tons of ginger.
Oh yeah.
And it's
I'm a fan of ginger. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's spicy.
Now, do you use cinnamon sticks or cinnamon?
We use the powdered cinnamon, but cinnamon sticks would be probably more traditional.
Yeah, that's what you normally see. See, I'm not I wouldn't appreciate that enough because I'm not a sipper.
Right.
I just drink.
Yeah.
Like I savor a coffee, but I'm still drinking it pretty quick. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of work to do just to gulp down a cup of cider, right?
It is, yeah. It's kind of fancy. But the mocha pot, on the topic of the mocha pot, you brought it up a few weeks ago, and I went to my neighbors and they made me espresso. Lo and behold, I looked over, it was late at night. I saw on the stove a mocha pot, and I asked him what he thought about it. He said he loved it. They only make espresso with that tiny little like single serving mocha pot.
Yeah.
And
aren't they cute?
They're cute.
The little ones are so cute.
They are. So I drank my coffee right before bed, and I thought of you.
Something else that, as far as noting the transition, that I'm going to be spending a lot more time in my carving room and my workshop.
Yeah.
And I went nuts in my workshop first. And I realized I haven't really made things all summer in my workshop. And the cobwebs were actually on everything. We have major spiders here this year. I don't know what it is, but there's spiders like daddy long legs everywhere. And I spent probably a half an hour just in the rafters, just sucking out all the cobwebs and spiders and stuff. But totally went through my workshop and gutted it all out, cleaned it, took so much garbage out. And then I came up here to my carving room, did the same thing, just reorganized everything. And well, obviously audio can't tell, but once again, fourth iteration of my bark carving station is now behind my right shoulder here on the wall, and freed up my my workbench over here. So yeah, I rebuilt all this and organized tools. I had a big auction of tools. I auctioned off a whole whack of palm tools and smaller tools. And I'm all I gotta do is carve, right? Just gotta start carving again. But yeah, I've been hectic. And on that auction, I auctioned them off on Instagram, and it went very well. I was really surprised, but I said I would ship it. Now this fellow from Scotland said, "Would it be all right if I bid?" And I'm like, "Of course you can, right?" I want to be fair to everybody. And I had mentioned earlier in the thread that shipping was on me, and I never thought nothing of it.
Oh man!
Well, that was a mistake, because ever mailed anything to Scotland?
Never.
Heavy box.
Yeah.
I went to the post office yesterday, I guess, and I had a teenager in there, and she didn't really know too much of what she's talking about. And the cheapest that she offered me was $201 if I wanted tracking. And she said, "You should go check out a courier." So I went to FedEx and Purolator and got estimates. They are cheaper. $368 I was quoted. So then I went back to Canada Post and I said, "Okay, I was here yesterday. I don't think the girl knows what she's talking about." And this was the full-time day lady, right? Because that was at night and yesterday. And anyway, it still cost me $100.
Okay.
But at least I got tracking, and she said it won't be there for over a month.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going on the slow boat.
Yeah, I guess.
I said, as long as I have tracking, I don't care.
Making a YouTube video.
He's lucky to be getting it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, that was crazy. In my mind, I thought, yeah, it'd be $50 probably.
Right.
But anyway, you can't go back and ask for money or anything. It's just not proper. It's just lesson learned.
Yeah.
And anyway, it didn't hurt me. Like they were used tools, so I was happy. And in fact, I threw in some. I asked him. I said, "Do you have any cottonwood bark in Scotland?" He goes, "No, not that I'm aware of." I said, "Well, I'm going to give you a piece, just so that you can forever be jealous."
Yeah. You ruined his life.
Yeah, I just ruined your life, so you can forever be jealous of us having access to bark. So yeah.
Oh man, I think another thing you mentioned a while back about the complaints you get with making free videos for people. And I was thinking recently, I get complaints about that too. The cottonwood bark thing. People are ticked if they can't get cottonwood bark that I'm teaching from it. They're like, teach from anything else but cottonwood bark. And I'm wondering, if I was carving in a hardwood, it wouldn't necessarily make that much of a difference as far as the technique goes. I mean, there are some movements that you can do in bark that you can't do in wood, but it's got to be something about the fact that they can't get that wood that just drives them nuts.
Well, if they're in North America, they have no excuses.
Right.
Because bear in mind, I'm not walking out in the backyard and getting cottonwood bark.
Yeah.
My cottonwood bark comes through from 3,000 miles away in British Columbia.
Right.
Like I pay for the boxes to be sent to me. Like I don't have access to that nice big black cottonwood.
Right.
They don't even grow here.
So if you live out west, come on, guys, you have no excuses.
Yeah, no, and share with us. Yeah. Why not just send us a box of bark?
Yeah, yeah. We'll DM you.
It's not. You don't have to go that far, because our Instagram buddy Lucas Cost, who by the way has been doing some beautiful carvings lately. If you're on Instagram, check out Lucas Cost with a K-K-O-S-T.
Yeah, that's right.
He's making beautiful work, but he showed an Instagram story where he stumbled upon a tree, and the bark that comes off of one tree is amazing.
It is, yeah. So it's Lucas Cost Carvings. That's one of his recent pieces, but
That's a beautiful piece. That's amazing carving.
Just so nice. I love
I
how
I
the leaves are.
I was looking at the sharp edges on the side of the face there, and I was like, I could only aspire to something like that. That's gorgeous.
That's so pretty.
I even like it. That's not even sorry audio, but he's showing a green man carving, but I even like how the leaves for the chin are symmetrical, going down.
I would never have done that.
Yeah, it's a real different take on a green man. So anyway, if you check out Lucas Cost on Instagram.
Yeah. Yep. So it's LUCAS, of course, Lucas, and then KOST carvings. So yeah, we were just going on about that earlier. But yeah, his carvings are just looking awesome. Like these wood spirits he's doing. I love the way he does hair.
Yeah. No, I love his work.
Really
but
good.
Anyway, like I said, he showed a tree that he had found in the bush, and like he's got bark for eternity off that tree, off one tree. And he's not all the way to BC either. He's Manitoba, so he's only halfway.
Right.
So it's not. I could probably get there 24-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
So well, someday it might be worth a bark run.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe we'll make a YouTube video of heading out west, or I don't know how you get across the border up there, but
I don't know how I would go there now. I guess with the border, I would hate to have to drive up and around, but I could probably scooter across Michigan, Chicago, and up. Would that be the probably be the easiest way?
Maybe so. I'm not sure, but I would. I mean, there's always some massive cottonwoods out in Wyoming, Montana. Look along the riversides there; it's unbelievable. I mean, I've never had a bad trip going to Montana and Wyoming looking for bark.
I heard you talking about that on the International Association of Woodcarvers, or the Carving Podcast. It's called, sorry, by the International Association of Woodcarvers, talking about bark runs and trying to get Tom off subject so you didn't have to take him. Is that what you're trying to do?
Let's not talk about it.
I tell you, if it was a field trip, you'd have so many people wanting to go.
Yeah, it's remarkable how many friends I have when I talk about these things.
Yeah. But it is pretty cool to. It's a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
In reality,
it is.
Like it's like a hunting trip.
We had so much fun. Yeah, I mean, my buddies went with me the last time, and we did a Kickstarter to fund it. My buddy Ben, my housemate, wanted to make a film about collecting bark, and he wanted to be all artsy and make like a short out of it. And so our friend, who's a sound guy, that's what he does, recorded the audio for it and brought his son to help him, and both of his sons. And so they did drone footage and the whole bit and gamut. We haven't put it out yet, but we sure had a lot of fun. We landed in Troy, Montana, and stayed with one of Scott's friends, our sound guy, and just camped on his property. And his property was flat, but it bordered this cliff, so it went directly up, and it was starkly contrasting. I mean, it just went straight up. And so the kids in the morning would like go up and down the mountain and tire themselves out. And right before we left, Ben and I were getting some things packed away, and he was making sandwiches, and Ben yelled at Sam, our little guy, our little helper, our young carver, and hey Sam, I need you to grab some jelly and some peanut butter. And Sam kind of goes, all right, and he's kind of walking over, and I'm right by the cooler, and just grabbing something, and I said, you should put some salsa instead of jam on a sandwich. And I was like, I don't know. And then I left. I went to take a shower, forgot about it, didn't think anything of it, didn't give it a second thought. Surely didn't think that it would happen. I walk out from the shower, and I see Ben with a death stare. And he said, I know what you did. And I'm lost. I didn't even give it a second thought. I'm like, what happened? He's like, you told him to do it. He's like, I'm going to get you. He was so upset. And so I was like, oh, the sandwich? I was like, I didn't tell him to do it. I was just kidding around. I didn't know he would do it. He's like,
Yeah.
no, you told the kid. And so the best part of this was, as I was about to take a bite of my sandwich, Sam was like, no. And Scott was like, buddy, you don't want to eat that sandwich. I opened it up, and it's a pre-chewed PB&J on the
Oh, nice.
inside. So he got me right back.
Do you know what a pie iron is?
Yeah.
Okay, so my brothers and I, we'd all used to take trips up north, fishing trips.
Yeah.
And when the boys got to be like I think 10 or 12 years old, you could bring your boys with you, and it got to be quite a group of guys. But anyway, one year I'll never forget this, because we have a big deep fried walleye supper and beans and potatoes and everything, like the whole gamut. Like,
that's amazing.
It is amazing. The boats on those trips were ridiculous, because we're still going so far in the backcountry.
Yeah.
But we got these boats that can hardly float for all the gear that they bring. Big 4-foot stoves and grease pots and everything. But anyway, so we have a big meal at supper. And then in the evening, campfire, everyone sits around, and 9, 10 o'clock, pie irons come out for snack time, and everybody's making these, either put jam in them and make like apple pies or strawberry pies or whatever. And then if you're hungry enough, you'll start making little pizza pockets, like with some cheese, and make these nice little pizza pocket sandwiches. And my nephew was making a whole bunch of them up. And I said, hey, make me one. He goes, yeah, okay. And so then I didn't see it. Of course, I put the pie iron in the fire and flip it and cook it. You're always opening it up to see if it's done yet. And I cooked it, and I started taking a couple bites. Of course, it's dark, it's smoky. You're on an island. You're not looking at your food, you're just eating it. And I'm going, what is this? So he put marshmallows in my pizza pocket. Oh, it's so disgusting. You're already chewing. Go, what is that gooey sweetness in there with my pepperoni and cheese? Marshmallows, a little turkey.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So, but other than go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say though, but I don't feel like I got everything answered there with as far as changes due to the changes in the season. I would say the other thing I've noticed is I'm more excited to carve.
Yep.
I enjoy it so much more. Sitting by the heater or just relaxing when it's cold outside, it makes you feel like there's nothing better in the world to do than to carve.
Yeah, I was going to ask you exactly that question too. Like, you obviously you carve more in the fall and winter than you would in the summer?
Oh, personally, I do. Especially in the fall. I love to carve in the fall when the colors are there and it's brisk out, but it's not super cold, so it doesn't take a lot of work to get the studio warm, and that's the best time of year. Yeah, and there's still avenues to sell and still things going on, and you're not completely depressed from the lack of sunshine, right? So
that's right.
In the fall. But what about you? Do you have a similar experience there with the winter? Or?
Oh yeah, I'm totally just coming into it now. Yeah, I can even feel it. It's like carving time. Yeah, for sure. And not only because it's fall, but you kind of enter Santa Claus season.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that today.
Like holiday carvings.
Yeah,
like people, like a lot of people carve Santas year round, but going into Christmas, the options for carving are unlimited. Like there's so many different things you can carve. But like if I made a carving tutorial in July, well, forget about it. No one's watching it. You just know. So it's obviously it's the world. It gets cold. People start spending more time in the house. People start watching more videos and tutorials and start doing carving. But yeah. So definitely, I feel it. Like I said, I felt it just getting everything reorganized, even in my carving room and my workshop. Like, because I know I'm going to spend so much more time now, because it's getting dark here.
Yeah,
before 7 now.
Oh wow, right.
So I mean, otherwise we'd be going for a bike ride right about now, and it's been black for an hour.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, I did the same thing. I went through my shop and I cleaned the windows for the first time in 2 years. That felt necessary, but
I have a window in my basement that still has the window company sticker on it.
yep.
I'm putting it. I think that's 16 years now.
Yeah. Yep.
But no, that's tis the season. So
Yep.
that's about all I got on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine that you have brought your jingle maker on your road trip.
No, but I can. No, I have nothing actually. We can
Okay,
hum. We can hum something.
I can't, but I would like you to. Mailbag. It's time. I wrote down. We actually had a good selection to choose questions from today, and some, not all I understood, but I kind of cherry picked some good ones, and we'll just start out. And by the way, if you do have a question for the Carving and Coffee Show, you can email us at
coffeeandcarvingshow@gmail.com.
Yes, Alec is the designated info on the Gmail address from now on because, well, just because we all know why. He's shaking his head.
How dare you?
Chris is asking, he's done smaller carvings and he's wanting to move up into some larger carvings and buying some larger tools. If you could only pick 3 or 4, because he knows that buying a set is not always wise because you get so many tools that you'll never touch. So if you just had to buy 3 or 4 larger tools, keeping in mind that he probably already has the smaller equivalents in palm tools. So if you could buy 4 tools, what would they be?
I would buy a 1-inch number 4, a 60-degree 3mm V. I would buy a 3mm Vayner and probably a 10mm 9, or somewhere 10 to 15mm 9.
Okay. So I went over here and picked, because I think I don't agree with what you just said, although that is your choice, because I believe he has the 3mm stuff probably in palm tool size already.
Oh, right.
Right. So if he was looking to go bigger, for more bigger sculptures. So I went and grabbed, because I knew the question beforehand. What was your flat? You said number 3?
Well, yeah, 3 or a 4,
Yeah, I grabbed the 5 because it's such a small difference and you can use it in a few different ways. And of course I went big. So all these are too big probably for your average bear. Like this is a 35 mil.
Yeah, that's huge.
And the same with the 35 mil again on the number 9. I would never
into that mucho dinero, buddy.
I would never tell anyone to buy these. I'd probably go for 20 or 25 mil, right?
Yeah, right.
So I went to number 9.
Yep.
Gouge.
Nice.
With the V tool, I went with a 20.
Whoa. You use that boy?
Oh yeah, I have a bigger one. Hang on.
I don't even own a V tool half that size.
I have a 30.
What on earth? What the heck are you going to do with this?
I actually use this a lot.
Do you really?
When I roughen a beard, I like to go, like in the hair, I like to go make the real deep cuts first.
Yeah. And
then go in with the smaller tools on top of the deep cuts. So I can really separate things quickly.
Yep.
With the bigger V tool.
That's pretty
and neat. Then I went with a number 11, 15, which is a softer beard and detail, right? So I think we're on the same boat, really.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, the bigger V tool is a good thought, because I hadn't thought about, if they were using palm, they already have a 3mm 60. They need something. Yeah. They probably need what I like. I even use a 5mm a fair amount.
Mm-hmm.
As often as the 3.
Yeah, and I do like a smaller V tool, but I always tell people on the smaller tools, if you got a 2 mil or a 4 mil V tool, if they could only buy one. Well, buy the 4 mil because the 2 mil is on the bottom of the 4 mil.
Exactly.
It just depends how deep you want to use the tool, right?
Yep.
So, okay. I think, so real quick again, I said 11. Now you choose your own size, but I said 11, 5, 9, and a bigger V tool and yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty much in the same place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. Now I added to that question. Do you have any strange tools? Unfortunately, you're not in your shop, but is there any tool that you would say does not actually belong in a woodcarver's tool bag that you?
Oh, of course. This makes me sad that you asked this when I'm in a hotel, because
I know
I could go on for hours about unnecessary tools that I have that I find a way to use, but only because I am giddy and like weird tools that no one should ever buy.
right.
I have all kinds of strange backbent, flared, squared looking, I forget what they're called, the square tools.
Macaroni.
Macaroni. There you go. Yep.
And there's a macaroni and a flutoni. So what we're talking about is basically a 3-sided chisel.
Right.
And a flutoni. What is that? Is that more of a gouge, a 3-sided gouge? I think it is.
I'm looking it up.
The macaroni is kind of a fun tool. It's basically a V tool. Well, a 90-degree V tool in each corner with a flat center. I probably just confused everybody more than ever with saying that.
It's kind
Picture a big. It's like a U, like a square U.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what these are. I have some backbent curves. They look like. I don't know if it's a flutoni or not. I can't say because I'm not even sure I've heard of that term. But it's a square bit, kind of like a macaroni tool, but it actually has a concave inside. So it's almost like a backbent upside down gouge.
Right.
So it's curved like this, and that's a tool that I really do like for carving, making balls.
Yeah. Now, anything outside of the chisel and tool realm that you touch with your hands while you're carving?
Sorry, I don't know why the phrasing.
I know exactly why, and we're not going there.
No. I did truly.
These kids today, you can't say nothing.
Oh my goodness. So what it was the first thing that comes to mind is like unconventional, like sharpening setups that I've used in past.
Okay.
Now I don't, but I've had all kinds of weird, like, especially with Dremels and drills, like creating my own sharpening setups, trying to get a drill in a clamp and then creating on the lathe some sort of like a piece that I can attach to the drill so that I can get an inside bevels, all kinds of that over years.
On the same note, I can remember I made a wheel one time for my lathe and I glued leather to it for a power strop before I bought my power strop.
Yeah. For years, I used the lathe to sharpen my tools. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
what I was thinking for me was I have a Jimmy DiResta ice pick. And I use this thing so often. Now, I don't know. I'm a Jimmy DiResta fanboy.
Yeah.
Have been for years. But I've got 2 sizes. This is a smaller size. Sophie has the other one in her craft room because they're so useful. And all they are, obviously, it's an ice pick. But I sit there and I pick little fuzzes out the corners, and I can put wrinkles on bark.
Oh yeah.
And I can just indent things, and it's a valuable tool to have.
Yep.
But especially even in basswood, I do a lot of picking. You get a little fuzzy that you can't quite get, or you just kind of push through or highlight a cut or something, and you just kind of stretch the cut. And I'm
notoriously lame at using. I mean, as far as basswood goes, I have very little experience, and so because most of the time I'm using hardwoods, I'm using more available domestic stuff. And I remember you saying that basswood gets fuzzy when you power carve it.
Yes, and sand it.
and sand it. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. I don't remember that being the case. This week, I was carving on a big old sitting bull sculpture, and every time I sanded or bird or used a power burr on it, it was like fuzzball. Everything was fuzzy.
You still have to basically recut the face of it, right? The skin, just to give it a nice texture, like a nice cut edge.
I haven't decided how I'll treat it, but yeah, it's difficult to sand.
Yeah. So Ripper to shreds calls me Supertramp. So this fella knows me. I know this name, but he's been around for a long time because Supertramp was an old forum name from like probably 8 or 10 years ago, based upon the Alexander Supertramp from the show Into the Wild. But that's another story. But he says, what is your ideal environment? And I think you've already touched on it a little bit. What is your ideal work environment? For instance, alone or with an audience, silent or with music, morning or night, or inside or outside. So if you could choose the ultimate carving situation.
I'd like to hear your answer on that.
Well, I'll work through what it has, like alone or with an audience. 110% alone.
Yeah.
No question. Yeah. Alone. Silent or with music. Totally with the 80s or 70s music loud. So then I'm 15 years old, driving down the road in my truck, listening to the radio and carving. So morning or night, indifferent. To be honest, I'm good in the morning and I'm good late at night. I don't probably afternoon is my dry time for sure. So inside, outside, I like outside, but I prefer the convenience of inside, and I'll justify that by saying, for video's sake, if I'm making a video, I like to have a controlled environment because that's even why all my mics have big dead cats on them, because you can't control the outside. And every time I go outside, the neighbor starts cutting the grass, the wind's blowing, so I probably carve inside 80% of the time.
And for those who aren't camera gearheads like Doug and I, their dead cats are not actually dead cats. They're these fuzzy things that cover microphones to keep the wind noise from getting into the pickups.
Good clarification. I imagine though they must have started somehow, right? So some guy said, "Hey, I got this cat here. I wonder if that'll help my microphone," right?
Yeah, for maybe. Sure. Like my daughter wanted this cat and it got stuck under my wheel well, but I can use it.
I have a story about a cat.
Oh no.
So our youth pastor was coming to work and his cat got wrapped around the drive shaft.
Oh.
And then stuck up inside.
Oh.
And he heard it and he stopped. Anyway, make a long story. I don't want to go into detail, but make a long story short, he took it to the garage. They had to take apart his car up on the lift to get this cat out that was still alive. And so then they got the cat, it was still alive. So then he takes it to the vet, and the vet says, "Oh, it's a strong cat, but we have to put it down."
Wow.
So the poor guy, it wrecked something in his car. He had to pay for the mechanic to remove all the parts to get this cat out, pay the vet bill, and then put the cat down.
Oh my God.
That's a terrible story.
An expensive ordeal and sad.
Well, even to make it worse, so it was his daughter's cat. So he brought his daughter with him to the vet. And when the vet said that they had to put it down, she passed out and hit her head and she got a concussion. So there was
what?
Yeah, he didn't even make it to work that day. It was like a total right. It was a sad story, but
wow.
Anyway, yeah. Crazy.
Oh my gosh. Just when you think it couldn't get worse.
Yep. So, okay, your turn. Work environment.
Yeah, outdoors for sure. If it's fall, especially, I like working in 50 and 60 degree weather. So like right now, the late fall
Hmm.
that we have, that's the best because you don't get hot. I don't like carving in the summer heat. I don't carve at all much in the summer when it's warm out. I like in the fall. So
Yep.
I've been carving mostly outside.
Silent music. I know the answer to this one.
Oh, music for sure. Unless I'm really trying to flesh out something.
Morning or night? I know we don't even have to answer this.
Oh, come on. I hate that I'm this way, but I do like carving at night better than in the morning. Although I end up having, it's my job, so I try to carve in the morning, but I much prefer carving even in midday or afternoon.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And or alone or with an audience. Now, this is you got to be careful here. Go ahead.
With an audience.
With an audience. That's right, because I saw a little Instagram post of some cute little girl taking a picture of you carving, going, this is how I enjoy my evenings lately, watching Alec carve while I do my homework.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cute.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I don't know what,
Yeah.
maybe being the youngest or something, but yeah, having company mostly. I mean, if someone's
Yeah.
watching, they're doing something else probably in the meantime. Yeah.
Michael would like to know, what's your favorite thing to carve?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever I'm about to carve next.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I used to always say flat plane carving, but I think I've gravitated more to the wood spirits of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Faces. I love it for some reason. What are you sick of carving? What don't you ever want to carve again?
Whatever I have to carve next. It's like that catch-22, right? It's like I want to do the things that, well, see, the truth is I never want to start anything ever. And once I'm in the project, I'm just
You
smiling.
can't stop. And
I'm
you can't
loving it.
stop.
I cannot stop. If I have a
I
dinner
get that.
date or something, it's like I would prefer to be in the shop.
Yeah. What carving are you most proud of?
Oh, I imagine it to be something I haven't done yet, way out in the future. I'm not real excited about anything.
Good. I'm gonna piggyback on that one too.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of meh, but I know that there's gonna be one that's gonna be good coming.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you.
Good. Okay, now I know you're probably sick of telling this story, but Lucas wants to know, how did you begin carving? And did you think it would become such a big deal in your life?
Well, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I began carving, of course, and I've said this story many times now, watching a Gene Messer video. And just randomly on a Saturday, and I took my big 4-inch bushcraft knife, and I carved a little man. And did I think it was going to be a big deal in my life? Kinda. Because I tell a story that my first carving looked like crap now, but you never see anybody so proud of something.
Yeah.
Like I've built mansions, like, and this silly little 2-inch whittle was so exciting to me.
Yeah.
It was, and so I knew that I would be doing it for many years to come.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back at that carving, like I said, it was horrific. But it was just something about making a little man. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I didn't know I didn't think it would take over my YouTube channel or a bedroom in my house. Like I was just sitting at the kitchen table, and now I've got a nice room and full of tools and equipment, and yeah, it's really grown.
Yes.
I'd say it took. Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. The only other thing I ever felt close to it was I used to build these little boats, and the same thing, all the while building houses and from the ground up, and just that's the job. right? It was just a job. I never was. I liked what I was making, but I wasn't like proud. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the only other thing that came close to it was I used to make these little, probably 10 or 15 years ago. There used to be a online forum. I think it was called Duckworks,
Yeah.
and they were wooden boat makers, and they always had these contests about making little wooden boats out of like one sheet of plywood. And the first time I made a little wooden boat was kind of the same feeling as the first little man I carved. When you take a piece of wood on the sides and you bend it, and it all of a sudden, these flat pieces of wood, when you bend them and join them, all of a sudden they created the hull of a boat like a boat. You know what I mean? Like that whole flare and how it kicked up. It gave the rocker and everything. And that's a venture that how many boats could you actually make or want to make? So this is something. Now I'm surrounded by hundreds of these little men. Yeah. So the boat could never. It wasn't a hobby. It would be expensive, right? And silly to make so many. So, yeah.
Did you build the boat that the gnome went on his ride? Oh, not the gnome. The wait, it was a gnome, was it not? Yeah, the gnome.
Yes.
Gnome ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's in the video.
That's right. I remember it now.
Yeah. Yeah. I carved it was a leaf boat, really. Yeah. It's supposed to be a leaf. Yeah.
That was adorable.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could I forget? It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. But to this day, that's one of my favorite videos still.
Oh yeah.
So silly. It's so silly.
Absolutely ridiculous and amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it was so silly. I felt so dumb.
No, it's so good.
I felt dumb, but I mean, when I feel dumb, that's when I'm laughing.
Yep.
Like that's my and at that point I could care less what anybody thinks. I'm giggling like a little schoolgirl chasing a boat. Because to be fair, I grew up on a small hobby farm.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We had a creek on the one side of the property, and we had a small river on the other side. And we would make little boats, and we would race little boats. That's what we did. Like we didn't. We had like 2 channels of black and white TV. We never watched them because they're either fuzzy or nothing was on. Yeah. So we played like we raced these little wooden boats. We'd go to the workshop and make little wooden boats, and most of them look like little steamships. You know, you put these things on top and just 2x4s and junk, and we'd race boats down the creek. So when I was doing that at like 50 years old, it just brought back all that silliness from my kid, but being a kid. So yeah. Anyway.
Right. That's cool. So yeah, the way I got started was a soap carving class in school, and the teacher called my mom and said, you should get your son into carving. Here's a booklet and a kit with a knife and all of it. And my mom was like, what was that? And got me the kit, and I sat on the porch and I carved for 3.5 hours or 4 hours. And when my parents finally found me, they were shocked that I'd been gone for so long. And I told them I was just right in the porch. And they assumed because there weren't loud noises and explosions happening, apparently, that I was distant. But no, I was right there. So of course they supported that hobby. They would. Hobby. Oh my gosh. So that began the journey of the YouTube trail, finding people like Gene and Ron Adamson, who were these really kind of neat people with fun stories. Ron was this kind of outdoorsy guy who had a big porch that he would carve on that literally cantilevered over the Kootenai River and the mountains with the pines and all of it in the background of every video he did. So I just
was he Canadian?
No, he's from Montana.
Oh, I thought the Kootenai sounds so much like BC.
It probably does go that way. Yeah, because it's not far. It borders it, right? So
yeah, it must. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's in the very northwestern corner of Montana. So Libby, Montana. So yeah, so that's it. So I saw him and started bark carving, and the rest is history.
Yep. Cool. Well, that closes the mailbag.
There you go.
So again, without the the stringed jingle maker, we're gonna move into hey, I never ever mentioned. I did say earlier that we're big fans of Jimmy Dresta,
Yeah.
but this podcast is basically, and they've claimed that they ripped theirs off of somebody else too, but these ideas, like, it's just the topic of what are you up to?
Oh yeah.
What have you been watching? And a topic is the blueprint for so many of these making type podcasts.
Yeah.
And I should just say that that's exactly how we're doing it. The same format as them and others as well. So it's like it's just to get to know you every week. What are you up to? So it's a good format. I love it. I love watching the Making It podcast every Friday morning. If they don't have their podcast out, that's why I kind of harp on you too, that routine, like people that work look forward to a podcast, and they may in time come to think of Friday as the Carving and Coffee Show or the Making It podcast. Because if I get up Friday morning and I can't download the Making It podcast, there goes Friday.
Right. Right.
It's
coffee and carving show.
Yeah.
Carving and coffee.
What'd I say?
Carving and coffee.
Did I say that?
It made me happy. You know what? I got so happy, and this is probably original sin happening right here. Is because I'm usually the one to mess it up.
Yes, you are.
So the fact that you did just pleases me. I'm going to be honest, but.
Do you know what my email is? I was always Doug Outside before until I switched to Doug Linker. But when I switched to Doug Linker, I became like Doug Linker, Carve and Craft. So my email actually is carveandcraft@gmail. So carve is always first in my mind.
Right. So there you go. We have Doug's email. Let's harass him. And
what have you been up to? Watching, learning?
To segue from what you just said.
Yep.
I interrupted you, but what I've been watching and learning, Making It.
Yeah.
I had it on. I've just literally all this week I've been carving outside with bundled up, carving basswood and cedar, and just in my earbuds the whole time has been episode after episode of Making It. And I'm starting to really get why you like that so much. I get it.
Yeah. It's I love it. And we put this podcast on video form for those who aren't into videos, right? But the whole purpose of a podcast is not to sit in a chair and listen to it. Right. It's to keep you entertained in whatever you're doing, whether that's carving or building or cutting the grass. It's just something to keep you company. Right. And that's why I just think they're so personable.
Right.
And those guys are great. I love how they bounce off each other, and they're again totally distinct personalities too that you get to know. So
it's the perfect working music, perfect working podcast because nothing's too heavy.
Yep.
And so it's just conversation, and it's perfect because every once in a while they'll bring up a topic that's really interesting. How they manage to work through a problem or CNC or stuff that I've never messed with that I'm interested in. It's cool. Yep.
And you're not going to fail test if you don't hear every word.
Exactly. It's not like congruent. So yeah, exactly. So that, and then I've been listening to audiobooks. I started oh goodness. I started a book, but before I get to that one, I've been Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek.
Yep.
It's kind of a book that Tim Ferriss has tried to live down for a long time, but I've been back in it. I never really did ever read it all the way through, but there's some good stuff in there. I mean, as much as it kind of seems a little bit like self-helpy and kind of like typical business, again, that self-help genre, but it's good. There's some good stuff in there. Just basically to summarize where I'm at with it, talking about how important it is to not waste your time, pitter-pattering, prolonging projects. He talks about Parkinson's law, that time expands or shrinks based on the time you allocate for a project. So if you give yourself 4 hours to get something done, you could probably get it done in 4 hours as opposed to giving yourself 8, right? If it within reason. A lot of times.
No,
Yeah.
Yep. You're 100%. Do you know how many construction jobs finish just before 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
It's true.
Really?
Like today, we're gonna finish this job, and it always just you make it fit and you work. If you got you may up your speed or lower. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
and always the end of the day, you're packing up your tools and job's done.
No,
Not
it's the
many
same
jobs.
yeah, no, I totally understand.
Like not many jobs are 2:30.
Yeah.
We're all done. It's always like right to
Yeah. The final hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
well, our oh, go ahead. Are you done?
that's me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our old buddy Peter Hyde, who we've been back and forth. He email us all the time, and he really picked up on the vinyl cafe series. Did you ever listen to that?
I haven't.
Oh, well, he sent some for us to listen to, but I had already listened to it. But anyway, Peter got me back in to the clog making. So with this stock knife, which technically is a peg knife, if I've been educated properly by all the comments, that it's not a clogger's knife, it's a peg knife. It's not a stock knife because a stock knife has anyway. So many, yeah. But anyway, he got me back in, and I've been binging on clog making. Now, I think we talked about this before. How I always wear wooden shoes around the house. And in my workshop, I'm always wearing wooden shoes. I know.
Not in a million years that I've.
But I grew up too. Like if you went outside, there's always a pair of wooden shoes. You slipped on and got the mail, or run to the shop. But anyway, I've not only been watching clog making, I've been watching old school clog making and new school, like automated wooden shoe making. And yeah, it's amazing. Clumpa maker. I can hardly hear myself. Yeah, it's a klumpen are the wooden shoes, but it's funny that the Dutch word is kind of maker, is klumpen maker. But those chisels I have never seen in my life. The hollowing ones to get up into the toe, it's like a sharpened spoon with a T handle. Can you picture a gouged spoon that's sharp on all edges, and basically they can drill holes.
So you can kind of like turn it,
and they can just get it up in there with this T handle, and they're cleaning it up in the toes, and use it. And they use a lot. They all use the big clogger's knife, which are monsters compared to what I have here.
Can I interrupt you?
Yep.
What do they use? So there's a T, and then there's kind of a curved gouge. Is the gouge just? Is it a normal gouge, or is it like skewed, like angled, the end?
Yeah, like I said, picture like a spoon.
Yep.
Totally sharp, so it has a bit of the spoon shape on it.
I see.
Like
so the corners are rolled back on the grind.
Yeah. It's basically is a spoon, but it's all sharpened, so you can actually just get up in there, and
I'm clear.
And they all use the big knives, and there's not many old school makers left, like a dozen at best, probably in Holland. And but then the automated ones are just as amazing, because they all start out with a template of a shoe, and they put them in these copy machines, and so these rollers copy the patterned shoe, and then they're just down the line. These cutters are cutting the exact pattern from these rollers, so they're all doing the same thing and making these shoes. It's the automation is unreal. And then these giant, for lack of a better word, router bits that go in, and that's and same thing. The copying of the wheel. I don't know how to explain this very well, but they're the copiers, like a duplicator.
Yeah,
duplicator. That's a better word. Mm-hmm. So they duplicate, but they always have the shoe that they duplicate by the wheels, and they get that motion, and these rudder bits are hollowing out the shoe beside. It's fascinating.
That's cool. I would never have guessed to use that.
Yeah, it's great. Right from
way of doing it.
Well, yeah, but it's mod. Like they're making. The one guy said that his dad can make 3 pairs a day or something of the old school way, and he now makes in automation. I forget how. I shouldn't even say. I want to say like 200 pairs or something.
Wow.
And all these automated, they're not even still factories. They're basically still barns full of machinery. So it's not like a industrial factory. It's always a nice barn setup or setting, they walk out and make these shoes and stuff. But it's just fascinating because I guess it is because it's my heritage, and it's just really it's really fascinating to watch. So, and even the painting. My only disappointment is if you've seen the old yellow shoes with they all have the same line, and I always figured that they were hand painted on the toes, and they're basically a sticker.
Really?
Yeah, they are. They paint the shoe, but then they lay this sticker that you can't tell it's a sticker. I always thought it was like a hand painted, and I was like, how do they do them all the same? And then they just put this very, very light textured sticker, and it blends. You can't tell. But yep. So that's been my biggest tangent of the week.
So let's call this podcast The Disillusionment of Doug.
Yes. I have nothing else for this week. I think we've overtalked ourselves for a change.
Yeah, it's true.
So
thanks for listening, everybody.
And until next week, are we doing 11? I only promised till 10. I thought we were doing well to get to 10. But you know what? I think we'll do 11.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll give it 11. Thanks for listening, everybody. Until next week, who am I today? I'll be Doug today. Why not?
All right. Well, then in that case, I'm Alec.
All right.
With a C.
Oh, not an X.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. See you later, guys.
Goodbye.